Great job. Keep going, because you're not going to get to a successful business and massive cash flow if you don't get through, like for us was 2019. If you've worked very closely with me, which I have several of you over the last handful of months, there's one phrase that I always keep saying, and that's keep going. Great job. Keep going, because you're not going to get to a successful business and massive cash flow if you don't get through, like for us was 2019. If we just folded up shop and said, no, this is too hard, we're not what we thought it was going to be, we wouldn't have got to where we got today, where we cashed out of a lot of properties over the last 4 or 5 years. And that's all because we hung in there. And I commend each and every one of you for keep going. Just keep going. That's something I say every day that I'm talking with someone, working with them on a particular deal.
100%. And I wrote down also, because you guys see the surface, right? You don't see the duck paddling. So I also wrote down 23. Most of you are not aware, was a really challenging year for Smart Real Estate Coach. Why? We had to reinvent an entire sales department, reinvent an entire marketing department, and do that at the same time. That's not easy. That's mostly on Zach's shoulders. So it's not supposed to be easy. I remember one of my accountability partners saying to me, I wish people understood that business is freaking hard. That's what he said to me. Being an entrepreneur is hard, but the rewards are big. So I just want to bring us to the forefront in January, so we're not in June going, oh shit, what happened to the first half of the year? There are always roadblocks for you between where you are now and where you want to be. It's always going to be that way, right? That way for me, it's that way for everyone. So let's make sure every month you're identifying those. Like Judy and Kyle just said, boom, I know what it is. Okay, good. That's your now roadblock. So let's spend 30 to 60 days thinking, visualizing, affirming, and working on skill sets for just those two things. In their case, getting on an appointment. How did I get on more appointments? I know Steve's resourceful. He's researched different sites because he showed me one yesterday of a sales trainer because he was looking into like speaking and bettering himself in that arena. And everybody who sees him says, yeah, he constantly improves. So Judy and Kyle, could you perhaps maybe look into some other things online and probe around and see how to get better making appointments? Absolutely. There's language. Here's a takeaway for you guys. Have you all gone through the secret weapon, the course by Ed Rush that me, Nick, and Zach and Ed Rush did? Have you guys all gone through that?
Yep.
Who has not? Raise your hand. Okay, you guys, I'm telling you, that's powerful stuff, and it doesn't get outdated. It's in the academy.
I still use a lot of those little script tweaks.
It's so good.
To this day. Yeah, it's so good.
And once you learn them, you guys, it's like the skill set of the real estate deal that we teach you. You will have that for life. Like you'll find yourself using it outside of real estate. It's so powerful. So go through that secret weapon course, everyone. That was when Ed was with us here in Rhode Island. Okay. We got some time before I open for Q&A and before Zach. What's really cool, let me put a little bit of a positive spin on what I've been ranting about. What's really cool is every single person here can do it if you do those things we're talking about, right? You got to work it and you got to get resourceful and you got to ask. Yesterday I was sitting in the room and I said, when's the last time the people who came for the office visit said, when's the last time you called someone in the community and asked them how to get better at such and such? He said, I haven't. Just my coach. Why not? Not everyone here can answer, or not everyone can or should answer your question, but there are people on this screen right now that are good at a particular skill set. Maybe one thing they're the best at in their world, then you should be picking their brain on how to get better at that. Why not? And if you're not sure who it is, ask your coach because they know everyone, right? When Mike and I and Rusty, Steve, Nick, all the coaches, Rick, get together, we know who's good at what. Just ask us. We'll tell you who to go call, okay? If we don't do it on our own. I'm gonna bring one more mental thing up here that I wrote down over the weekend. Our beliefs do affect where we're going. Everybody agree with that? Like our old beliefs affect where we're going. Everybody agree with that?
Oh yeah.
Because that's what kept my head in the sand from 08 till 12, thinking, okay, I must have did something wrong and blah, 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 all the junk, all the noise that goes on. The good news is if you expose yourself to certain people, like I just suggested in the community and otherwise, you can change all that. That's the only way you're going to change it, quite frankly. It's going to take, in my opinion, that outside source. And that's not my expertise, but that's what I've done over the years. If you told me in 2014 this is where it would be in 24, I wouldn't believe it. In all fronts. And that's just exposure. So for me, it's, you know, for Money Machine, it's that video you just saw. I'll get an hour of those. I think it's Motiversity or something like that. Find it on YouTube, but I'll do an hour of those while I'm on a machine, just to not brainwash. That's not the right word, but just to immerse myself in that. Podcasts. For me, phone calls to Peter Taunton, phone calls to Brett, because they think bigger and differently than I do. Pointedly will do that. And if I haven't done it in a week or two, I'll go, shit, I should just text them or call them and get on their radar. So exposure. If you write that word in front of you to remind you, exposure. If you're going 2-3 weeks and you're not exposing yourself to anyone new, you're probably not growing. As much as we can do in the community, if you're not exposing yourself to something new, you're probably not growing. We this year rejoined Elite for the exposure. It's not real estate people, it's all business owners. So I'd ask yourself, you don't have to answer now, but how often do you get new exposure? Think about that.